Are you weighing the decision to buy versus rent a home in the Chicago South Suburbs? If you are, you should absolutely watch this video. If you're struggling with this decision, if you just don't know what to do, I'm going to give you the information so that you can make an educated decision that's best for you. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is John Sintich. I'm your go-to Chicagoland realtor in the South Suburbs of Chicago, and I'm your guide to building wealth through buying and selling real estate. Okay, so we're just gonna need an example of a suburb in the Chicago Southland. So let's just go with Tinley Park. If you've been watching my channel recently, I've been harping on Tinley Park a lot. I've been covering a lot of things about all things real estate in Tinley Park. So why not just stick with it, and we'll use Tinley Park as an example. This information is going to apply to most of the southwest suburbs, so don't get too caught up on the fact that we're covering Tinley Park today. I'm just using it as an example to give you a reference point for all the different suburbs, and you can apply this information to that as well. I'm going to go over the general pros and cons of renting versus buying a home. Let's start with the pros of renting. So what's good about renting a home? Number one is you don't need to spend a ton of money up front. Number two is you're going to avoid a lot of capital expenses when it comes to your property. Big, crazy, hairy, expensive things like a new roof, new HVAC system, brand new windows throughout the property, new flooring, new washer and dryer, things like that. Your landlord's going to take care of all that. Number three, you have flexibility with your living situation, right? You can kind of pick up and move quickly. You're locked in typically for 12 months, and then you can just drop everything and move. You're not committed to that space for a long period of time. Number four, historically, your monthly rental payment is probably going to be less than your mortgage payment. Although for the past 2.5 years, with interest rates being as low as they were, at the time of this recording, we're in October of 2022, so rates have gone up significantly. We're over 7% today. The last 2 years, we were sitting around 2 to 3%. And so your mortgage rate was actually frequently lower than the average rental for the given area that people were in. But that's changing now. And number five, huge factor, you can live somewhere and have crappy credit. You don't have to have great credit. Those are some of the pros of renting. Now let's talk about some of the negatives or the cons of renting a property. Number one, you may have heard this phrase before, but it's true. You are paying 100% interest on your monthly payment. None of that is going towards building equity in your property and building wealth. I understand that people understand that and like their credit might not be good enough to buy, or they just don't want to buy. They have some negative beliefs or negative assumptions about buying. They don't care that 100% of their money is not going to building their wealth. Which segues into number two, which is you're building a stranger's wealth. If you don't know your landlord, typically it's a stranger. You're building their wealth instead of your own. You are paying their mortgage every month, and that's building their wealth over time. Number three, rental prices typically chase inflation, and right now, at the time of this recording, in October of 2022, we are in a hyperinflationary period. You're feeling it at the gas pump, at the grocery store, when you buy things. It's all very expensive, and rent tends to follow that trend as well. Number four, your landlord might make you pay for utilities, or they might make you bring a washer and dryer, and I've heard some stories like that recently. Number five, there are no tax benefits to renting a property. We can get into some of those tax benefits when we talk about the pros of purchasing a property. Number six, when you do want to buy, if and when that day comes, the prices of homes will have gone up over that entire time that you've been renting, and prices are going to be much higher when you finally do decide to buy after renting for however many years. Okay, now let's get into the pros of buying a house. Number one, you're buying something that appreciates in value. Typically over time, housing always goes up. There's peaks and valleys along the way, but over the time frame, let's say you live in a house for 30 years, you're certainly going to see appreciation on that asset. And you're building equity, meaning you're paying down your debt while you're appreciating in value. And that gap of the value of your home and the debt that you owe grows over time, and that's your equity, and that's money. That's what we really care about, right? It's money that you grab out of that property that you can use. Number two, as far as your principal and interest on your property, your monthly payment is going to stay the same for 30 years. So if rental prices go up all those 30 years, up, you're still here back when you purchased that property, that's your monthly payment. And when rates go even lower, you can refinance, let's try to stay in the camera frame here, and your monthly payment can be even lower over that time. So you have a fixed monthly payment. Now I understand taxes go up every year on your property, that's going to increase your monthly payment, but overall, your principal and interest payment is going to be the same. Number 4, there are tax benefits to owning real estate. When you go to file your taxes, there are little benefits that you can fill out, and I won't claim to know the names of them or how much exactly you'll get in benefits. That's for your accountant to tell you. But there are tax benefits to owning real estate. And number 5, you control your living destiny. You control everything. You don't have to worry about pet rules or things like that. You can do what you want to your home. You can personalize it, make it really unique to you. You can do what you want. It's your property. And there's a sense of freedom and pride that comes along with that it's kind of hard to put your finger on if you don't actually own real estate. Now let's talk about the cons of owning real estate. Number 1, you have to spend more money up front than you would if you had to rent. Closing costs and down payment. But we're going to get into a cost analysis later in this video where I show you how little you actually need to actually put down. Number 2, there are potential capital expenses that you're going to pay over the life of your ownership of that property, like a new roof, new HVAC, new windows. These things cost money over time. And if you don't save a little bit of money and allocate to a capital expense account or just like a general savings account, then you're going to take these big hits, financial hits, where you're like, shoot, I got to pay for a new roof. I got to pay for a new air conditioner. And it's not fun. But if you budget accordingly, it's fine. Number 3, it's difficult to just pick up and move, right? You're committed to that property. You're making a long-term commitment to living somewhere. Now, of course, you can go through this process of selling and moving. You're not forced to live there forever. It's just a little bit more difficult. Not a little, it's a lot more difficult to just move out of that property. And number 4, in some certain markets, your home could decrease in value. It's a very rare possibility, but it is a possibility nonetheless. Over time, in general, most real estate appreciates, but in some markets, home prices did not appreciate. Now that we've laid out some pros and cons versus buying and renting, I'm going to actually show you a cost analysis. I'm going to pull up some information and walk you through a cost analysis of buying versus renting in Tinley Park. All right, we're now on the laptop. The sound's going to be a little bit different. I hope it doesn't drive you nuts. We're going to do a cost analysis, like a total cost analysis on renting versus buying. We're just going to use Tinley Park as an example, like I mentioned earlier. So let's just dive right into it. I'm going to put myself into a corner over here. And don't worry about my face in the corner. Just worry about what I'm showing you. So I developed a little spreadsheet. On the left here in this column, we're going to look at Tinley Park available rentals currently. So I went on rent.com, and these are the current rental listings in Tinley Park. So we zoomed in. Now all of these little blue marks are the current properties for rent. So you have little 1 bed, 1 bath, 2 bed, 1 bath, 2 bed, 2 bath, a variety of condos and apartments. There is a home for rent for $2,700, a home for rent here, a 4 bed, 3 bath for $3,600, split level, looks like a raised ranch for $23.95 per month, a 3 bed, 1 bath. That's actually in Oak Forest, so we're not including that one. But anyway, we won't go through all what they look like, but you take all the rentals that are available right now, the average rent is $2,072. Now that's going to vary across different platforms, but it's pretty dead on close to accurate. Anywhere from like $2,000 to $2,200 for like a 2 to 3 bedroom home is pretty standard in Tinley Park. And that's going to just be, for the sake of this example, we'll say $2,072 will be, and some change here, will be our average monthly rent based on the averages of all these available properties. Okay. Now your first we talk about upfront costs with renting a property. Typically, you're going to pay your first month's and last month's rent and then a security deposit. So let's just say, for the sake of this example, you pay the first and last month's rent plus $1,000 security deposit. We'll just put that number there. at $5,144. So $5,144 are going to be your upfront costs for renting the property. You're going to get a 0% return, obviously, because you're renting, you're not owning. So let's say you rent for 30 years, you're getting 0% return. Again, I'm not judging anybody for renting. I rented for years. This is just factual. You get 0% back, obviously, because you don't own it. Now let's go to the cost of buying a median single-family home in Tinley Park. So just to show you, right now, I just did a search for all the available properties in Tinley Park right now. Homes on the market. Some of them are currently available, some of them are already sold. These are all the active listings. So there's 175 of them. So let's just go find the median single family price here. So I'm gonna do, let's pick this one here. 16130 Ozark Avenue in Tinley Park. So you can buy this for 275 grand. These pictures are terrible. Shout out to the listing agent if you ever watch this video. I got a photographer. Shout out Lucrative Dynamics. Use them. They'll take care of it because these pictures are freaking terrible. Sorry. It's just the truth. Ooh, nice shoe collection. Nice. Okay, so anyway, sorry. $275,000. The taxes are just under $6,000, and there's no HOA fees or anything like that. So let's go to a mortgage calculator to determine your monthly payment. So I did this up front. I put the home purchase price would be $275,000. Now, you can put 3% down on a home. So let's just get that out of the way. I'm sure if you've watched my channel or if you follow real estate content, the 20% down payment myth, I hope you know that you don't have to put 20% down on a property, okay? You don't have to do that. So let's go with the most cost-effective way to purchase a property at 3% down, okay? So we're gonna put 3% down, so your loan amount's gonna be just under $267,000. Now, again, we're gonna zoom into my ugly face again. Rates are just over 7% at the time of this recording, okay? So it used to be 3, 4, 5%. I guarantee you this monthly payment would have been lower than the average rent in Tinley Park right now, but rates are up at 7%. So it raises your monthly payment. Now, your loan term's 30 years. Let's say you start in November, $5,500 a year in property taxes. Your private mortgage insurance, that is when you don't put 20% down. You pay this until you get 20% equity in the property, okay? It's gonna be about $100 a month. Right now it's cheaper than that. My lender tells me that premiums on these are cheaper, and one of my clients is getting PMI for $50 a month. Anyway, I just put a conservative figure there. It's going to be about $111 for this example, and then it's over here. Sorry, I'm going to highlight it. PMI payments at $111.15. Your insurance is going to be around $1,000 a year. Okay, so let's go to this number. What we actually care about. It's going to be $2,445.46. After you get 20% equity built up in the property, that PMI falls off. You have to call them to get that PMI to fall off. That's a little hint for you. They won't take it off even if you're past 20%. You got to remind them. Your monthly payment will go down to $2,300. But again, if at any point rates go down, you could refinance. But let's not get too big into the weeds here. So let's do a cost analysis. $275,000 purchase. Your down payment at 3% is going to be $8,250. Closing costs. So costs associated with buying a property. It's going to be about 2% of the purchase price. So in this case, $5,500. Your lawyer fees, doing an inspection, title fees, loan origination fees. That's all wrapped into these closing costs. So your total cash to close would be about, and this is an estimate, guys, would be about $13,750. All in to buy this house. You need just under 14 grand. Now, your monthly payment, like we said, is $2,445 and some change. Your initial investment was $13,750. Let's say you live in that property for 30 years. let's say your property appreciates at 2% per year for 30 years. The average rate of a home appreciation in America is 2 to 5% in a balanced market. Let's say your home appreciates at 2% every year for 30 years. You're going to sell that house for $440,000 at the end of 30 years. So you turn $13,750 into $440,000. $440,000 over 30 years. It's a pretty good return on your investment. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you found valuable information from it. I hope it resonated with you. If it did, please tickle that subscribe button, like my video. That would greatly, greatly help me and help YouTube blast this content out to more people that might benefit from seeing it. As always, thank you so much for watching. My name is John Sintich. I'm your go-to Chicagoland realtor in the South Suburbs, and I'm your guide to building wealth through buying and selling real estate.